The movie begins with a man who is making a duplicate of a precious egg. While he works, he watches the news about the third Cleopatra egg, which remains unfound. The first two eggs have already been discovered. The first egg is on display at the renowned National Museum, the Castel Sant'Angelo in Rome. Once the man finishes his task, he leaves the room. At the museum, Inspector Dawes and Agent Hartley are examining the first egg, having received intel that someone plans to steal it. The local officer is skeptical of Agent Hartley's information because the egg is securely displayed. To verify the egg's authenticity, Hartley pours coal over it, causing the gold layer to disintegrate and reveal the egg's skeletal structure. Agent Hartley then spots someone fleeing the museum. It's Booth, the thief. A chase ensues, and Hartley corners Booth, asking him to surrender the egg. Booth seems to comply, but as Inspector Dawes arrives, Booth jumps out the window with the egg. Hartley tries to catch him but fails. 56 hours later, Booth arrives in Patili and enters a villa. As he takes out the egg, he hears a voice. It's Agent Hartley again. Booth mocks Hartley, stating he can't be caught since it's out of Hartley's jurisdiction. Hartley counters that while he can't arrest Booth, Interpol can. Inspector Dawes warns Booth that he'll be imprisoned in the worst facility for escaping 6 times before. Booth makes light of the situation, annoying Hartley. Hartley then lists Booth's past thefts and personal details, including Booth's father being a policeman and his mother an American professor. Hartley also reveals Booth's motive for stealing, to gain his father's recognition. Booth then mentions someone named Bishop. Inspector Dawes instructs Hartley to place the egg in the car, not wanting to store it with the thief. Hartley carefully secures the egg in the back of the car. The story continues as Agent Hartley moves forward, unaware that the egg has been stolen again. 32 hours later in Rome, Inspector Dawes approaches Hartley while he waits for his flight. She shows him the egg and then drops it on the floor, revealing it to be a fake. Dawes explains that she initially suspected Booth of switching the egg, but she now doubts Hartley. She reveals that she asked the assistant director at Quantico about Hartley, and he didn't know him. Additionally, Hartley had received $8 million from an unknown source on the day the egg was stolen. Hartley looks confused as Interpol officers surround him and take him to a Russian prison where Booth is also incarcerated. Hartley and Booth end up sharing a cell and start getting to know each other better while waiting in the food line. Booth tells Hartley that Bishop, a rival thief, anticipated Hartley's actions and framed him after Hartley caught Booth. Hartley realizes this wasn't a coincidence, but a well-executed plan by Bishop to eliminate his main competitor. Hartley admits he doesn't understand why Bishop framed him, but Booth explains that Bishop still needs the third egg. The eggs must be given to an Egyptian billionaire on the night of his daughter's wedding, with a reward of $300 million for the person who delivers them. Booth says he doesn't know the location of the third egg, but plans to focus on retrieving the second egg for now. According to FBI data, the second egg belongs to an international arms dealer named Sadovos. Booth describes Sadovos as a terrifying figure who enjoys strangling people. However, Sadovos hosts an annual masquerade for his clients at his villa in Valencia. No one knows that Sadovos hides the egg in a secret vault upstairs. Booth tells Hartley they need to keep Hartley's identity as a cop a secret at the party. But Hartley, whether intentionally or not, draws attention by announcing that he isn't a cop, but an FBI profiler. This revelation angers a prisoner named Drago Grande, who confronts Hartley. Despite Hartley's attempts to talk calmly, Drago punches him, causing his nose to bleed. An officer fires a gun to break up the fight and escorts Hartley and Booth back to their cell. The prison captain, who turns out to be a woman, calls them over. Hartley tells her he's willing to work with them to find the third egg and insists Booth knows its location. However, they reject his offer and return to their cell. Booth and Hartley then devise a plan to escape. Booth starts placing small stones into the wall's rock formations to reinforce it. Together, They create an explosive mixture using pure glycerin soap and a cleaning liquid with nitric acid to make nitroglycerin. Despite the officers chasing them, they manage to break out. Booth has taken an officer's ID card, allowing them to pass through security doors. Finally, he removes a small rock he had strategically placed, causing the wall to collapse and clearing their path to freedom. They descended the steep wall until they saw a helicopter. Booth piloted the helicopter while Hartley held off the pursuing officers. Eventually, they managed to escape from the prison together. In London, Bishop is interrogating a man strapped to a chair, using his computer terminal to send untraceable messages. The man tries to step on a foot alarm to alert the guard, but Bishop manages to handle the situation smoothly and warns the man to keep quiet. Meanwhile, Booth and Hartley are picked up by Booth's friend, Tambu, in a plane. Tambu is annoyed with Hartley, believing Hartley always catches Booth's partners. On the plane, Booth and Hartley plan their heist to steal the second egg, detailing the complex security at Sadovos' place. They must exploit a 45-second security shift change and avoid numerous surveillance cameras with no blind spots. The safe can only be opened with Sadovos' voice and face. Booth plans to use deepfake technology to replicate Sadovos' face and voice, and will also need to steal Sadovos' phone for the vault password. In Valencia, the party begins. Hartley disguises himself as a guest, while Booth poses as a waiter. Booth instructs Hartley to steal Sadovos' phone while he collects Sadovos' fingerprints. Suddenly, Hartley spots Bishop and, in an attempt to engage her, dances with her. Sadovos notices and, intrigued by the beautiful guest dancing with Hartley, cuts in to dance with Bishop. Hartley uses the opportunity to bump into Sadovos and grab his phone. Unbeknownst to them, Inspector Dawes is also present, observing their every move. Hartley and Booth accidentally collide, spilling wine on Hartley's disguise. The butler directs Booth to take Hartley to the toilet to clean up. The security guard at the camera station becomes suspicious of them, but his colleague dismisses it, saying someone spilled wine on a guest. While Hartley pretends to use the toilet, Booth copies the video footage from the camera and replaces it with a looped video to avoid detection. They then manage to enter Sadovos' room and prepare to open the safe. Suddenly, the glass containing Sadovos' thumbprint shatters after Hartley accidentally bumps into Booth. Fortunately, Booth manages to find another thumbprint. Using it, they unlock Sadovos' phone to retrieve the password and then use deepfake technology to duplicate Sadovos' voice and face to open the safe. Just as they are about to access the safe, Inspector Dawes ambushes them. Hartley accuses Bishop of orchestrating everything. Dawes tells Hartley to handcuff Booth if he is truly innocent. Pretending to comply, Hartley fakes handcuffing Booth and then drops Dawes' gun. Hartley and Booth manage to enter the safe, but as they reach for the egg, Bishop arrives and a struggle ensues. Security and Sadovos, alerted by the commotion, surround them. Booth and Hartley claim they are trying to protect the egg from Bishop, but Sadovos reveals he is working with Bishop to frame them. The guards beat Booth and Hartley until they lose consciousness. When they wake up, they find themselves tied to a pole. Bishop demands Booth reveal the location of the third egg, threatening to electrocute Hartley. Despite the threat, Booth remains silent, angering Sadovos, who starts strangling Hartley. Desperate, Booth lies, saying the third egg is in Egypt. Bishop then gives Sadovos a drink to celebrate, but drugs him to incapacitate him, planning to retrieve the eggs herself. After Bishop leaves, Sadovos wakes up, enraged, and blames Hartley and Booth shooting at them. Hartley manages to free himself and Booth from their bonds. Hartley, feeling betrayed, considers leaving Booth behind. Booth then reveals that he lied to Bishop. The third egg isn't in Egypt. They need to escape and find the real egg. As they flee the room, they discover they are being held under the Colosseum, where a bull show is currently taking place. They emerge into the middle of the arena, where poor Hartley gets run over by a bull after heeding Booth's advice not to run. Later, They board a train to continue their quest for the third egg. During the journey, Booth shares that his father's watch holds a clue to the egg's location. They arrive in the Argentine jungle, where Hartley grows frustrated by their lack of progress. In a fit of anger, he tosses Booth's father's watch, which hits the ground, revealing a hollow sound. They dig and uncover a hidden gate leading to the third egg. Entering the underground chamber, they find a door that Booth realizes can be unlocked using his father's watch. Inside, they discover numerous ancient and antique items, including a 1931 Mercedes-Benz Grosser 770. They finally locate the third egg, but suddenly, Bishop appears and demands the egg at gunpoint. A shootout ensues when Inspector Dawes arrives with her team. Hartley fires back in self-defense. Booth, Hartley, and Bishop escape in the Mercedes-Benz, with Dawes and her team in hot pursuit. They drive out of the cave, only to find themselves approaching a waterfall. Bishop, who is driving, tells Hartley and Booth to jump from the car. Booth tries to save the egg, but after they hit the water, he can't find Hartley. Initially, Booth considers leaving Hartley behind, but decides to search for him. Hartley then calls out, revealing he surfaced before Booth. Bishop emerges from the water, and Booth suggests Hartley handcuff her. Instead, Hartley kisses Bishop, revealing their partnership. Booth realizes he has been deceived. Hartley and Bishop have been working together all along. Hartley then handcuffs Booth to a tree trunk. In Cairo, Hartley and Bishop attend the wedding of an Egyptian billionaire's daughter, carrying out their plan to deliver the eggs and claim their reward. After handing over the eggs, Hartley and Bishop are rewarded with a substantial sum of money. The billionaire gives all the eggs to his daughter as a wedding gift. Suddenly, Inspector Dawes ambushes the wedding party, creating chaos. Amidst the commotion, Hartley and Bishop make a swift exit. Later, while Hartley and Bishop are enjoying their vacation on a yacht, Booth unexpectedly appears. He explains that he was caught by Inspector Dawes, but managed to escape. Booth tells them he forgives them, but hasn't forgotten their betrayal. He reveals information about supposedly secure accounts in the Cayman Islands, which turn out to be compromised. Interpol has seized all their money. Booth then proposes a new job, promising a bigger and tougher target that they can tackle together. He warns that if they refuse, Inspector Dawes will soon arrest them. Hartley is hesitant, but Bishop is intrigued and wants to accept the offer. Meanwhile, Inspector Dawes and her team are closing in on the yacht, but by the time they arrive, Hartley, Bishop, and Booth have already escaped. Back at the Interpol office, Inspector Dawes issues red notices for Hartley, Bishop, and Booth, marking them as high-priority targets. The trio lands in a new location, where their next target resides, ready to embark on their new mission. The movie concludes with the trio's new mission.